Yes, people, and welcome back to another video on the Bridge YouTube channel where we bring you all things Chelsea. I'm your host with the most, the rich T58, here today to give you a transfer news, sort of like news in general, sort of thing. Obviously, post the 4-4 draw with Manchester City. Obviously, I've got a few quotes, obviously, from the OB1 podcast, which is by John O'Mika. You had Victor Osimhen on, and he had like a few words that he spoke about, which kind of can be interesting. You got some news in regards to Gimenez from Finewood, and I hope I said that correctly, actually. That did not sound correct, but we move. And then the final one is actually just on Cole Palmer. So let's get into it. So I'll start, obviously, the Victor Osimhen news. So these are some quotes that he's come out with. So just bear with me while I'm reading them. So he says that we used to use my brother's phone to look at Didier Drogba's comps on YouTube. I tried to learn one or two things about his game. Every time I would use my brother's phone or go to this guy's house to use his laptop to watch the videos. And he also comments that I had two jerseys. One was Chelsea and one was Manchester United. But in general, like John O'Mika was like, listen, we need to come to Chelsea, you know what I mean? We need to force the issue, you know what I mean? I'm going to bring you there, you know what I mean? Agent Mikel, I'll get the intermediaries to get it sorted out for you to come to Chelsea, etc., etc. And honestly, we know what the value for him is going to be, right? Obviously, like, it's, again, probably you're looking, I would say again, around about the €150 mark, probably going to be cost you 120 to 130 million pounds in British money. So if I see any other than Napoli, guys, whenever I say 120 to 130, I mean that in British pounds, because when transferred into euros is roughly around about €150, if I'm not mistaken, or I think it's 130 that transfers to 150, if I'm not mistaken. Something anyway. Anyway, it's somewhere within that ballpark at the end of the day today. So that's all I'm trying to say. Now, whether or not what happened is another thing entirely. We know the club are just not looking at, obviously, they're looking at all the options. Maybe whether it be Victor Osimhen, of course. We know that Ivan Toney's an option. Of course, there's other strikers there in and around there. Victor Boniface, the striker, obviously from Nice as well, who's starting to shine as well. So, obviously, you got Giorgos as well from Sporting, who's another guy that's obviously up and coming as well. Sesko. So, of course, there's a bunch of other options that are out there and available for the club to obviously pursue if they want to. Because I will say this again, Victor Osimhen is the most expensive option of all of them, in my opinion. Because like, there's other guys that are gonna, these guys that we took with Giorgos, Sesko, Gimenez, for example, other people, for example, Boniface, they're all gonna cost you, in my opinion, between the around about the 30 million to the 60, 70, 80, 66, 60, 70 million range, I would say. And then you've also got Ivan Toney. I would probably put him in the 80 to 100 million bracket, probably what you're going to have to spend on. And then you got Osimhen, he's probably going to be around about the 120 to 130 million mark for you in general. So that's the range we're looking at right now. Now, again, so whenever you're doing, the scouting, whenever you want to choose someone, you obviously want someone that's going to be some level of provability, or someone that has an extremely high ceiling in the long term. Of course, that's someone that you definitely want to be looking at for sure. There's obviously other things in general that you want to be looking at, but those are the things in particular I would say that the club probably would be looking at in general when it comes to the striker. Now, obviously, you've got Jackson, 16, 11 goals for him in the EPL. So again, we'll see how he's doing. Again, after this international break, we've got literally football until February. So there's no international, so there's no friendlies, excuse me, or anything else in particular after that. So again, we're going forward in some way, shape, or form. So again, can't wait about that at all. So we look forward to that, man. At the end of the day, man. That's all I'm gonna say going into it. So we'll see what happens there. But I'm more than likely, very sure that we'll get somewhere in regards to that one for sure. Now let's move on to another striker, which is Gimenez from Finewood, and apparently the club are not interested in him. They know about his 45 million apparently. I think it's value or release, if I'm not mistaken, and but apparently they're not pursuing him. So I think with Gimenez, I think he started to really show up, if I'm not mistaken, last season, and now he's really on fine form this season as well. So again, maybe it might be a thing of maybe the club are trying to look for a bit more provability, someone that they can trust, someone maybe they're even looking at different type of striker as well. You never know when it comes to the football club in general. So we'll see what happens with Chelsea. I feel like this year, particularly post Cole Palmer has been very quiet in regards to who the club are truly looking at in the transfer window, unless they're like kids, essentially. I don't mean like that, but when I say kids, I mean like in general, wonder kids. So like guys from Brazil, if you're trying to buy them from South American market or the European market. So we'll see what happens there at the end of the day. So we we move on that one. But it seems that Gimenez is not someone that's going to be coming into the football club. Now, on to Cole Palmer. As you know, Cole Palmer in the EPL, he's got 4 goals, 4 assists. Shouts out to him, man. He's hooping, that's for sure. And basically, he's been called up to the England squad, which is a big congratulations to him, which is the senior one, senior England called up. So which is quite good. So it seems that he's going to be getting some sort of like later minutes, I would say. So probably like 5-6 minutes, in my opinion, just for him to get his first cap for England. Which again, man, he's well deserved. He's been playing really well for Chelsea, honestly. So since we decided to start him at Brighton, he's never looked back since. Been cooking, been looking good, man. I'm very happy for Cole Palmer at the end of the day. So much appreciated for him, man. At the end of the day, man. Hopefully, he can continue this fine form and help us to win trophies. It's as simple as that for me personally. So big up to Cole Palmer as well. Now let's move along. We've spoken about that. I want to actually talk about another topic in particular, which is on Conor Gallagher. Now, I've been seeing, people have been asking, do you want to give Conor Gallagher a new contract? Now, I've said this before. I said this before the season. If Pochettino likes him, which we know he does, he's playing his best, arguably because of the fact that the pivot behind him is really great and it allows him to do what he does best, in my personal opinion, too. So, listen, I think for me, again, Conor Gallagher is a good, strong squad player in a top team, and he can provide you stuff off the bench as well as on the bench, provided that he's in the right system. And I like him as a player. Obviously, he's from the youth system, from Cobham, so that obviously, that additional ability, that belief, in the team, the love for the football club is key for me as well. And you want those type of guys to hang around to, make sure that the values of the club, the fact that we all win all the time, those values in particular are kept with someone like him, in my opinion. Him, Reece James, of course, others in the team as well. So I would personally be happily give Conor Gallagher a new contract. So hey, man, hopefully that gets sorted out. I think honestly for me, the thing is, the question is, I don't know if the club. If the club wants to sell him, but I don't think so anymore at this point because of how much of a turnaround he's had in his fortunes. Similarly to like how we're seeing now with Cucurella is having like a complete change in his fortunes as well at Chelsea Football Club as well. So hey ho, man, at the end of the day, man, it's more power to Chelsea. Even to do what should sold them, you're now going to be getting a lot more money, a lot more bang for your buck because of what's going on. But listen, I would personally keep keeping Conor Gallagher at the end of the day. Now, in regards to like Thiago Silva, there's been rumours now that he might be going to, might be leaving Chelsea at the end of the season, which is again the most likely scenario. We all knew this time was coming, whether we wanted to admit it or not. And I always said that this was probably going to be his final season, where you want to, phase him out and allow more game time for a Levi Cole or a Badie Shaw or whoever you're going to be bringing in. So we'll see what happens there. But like obviously he's also been playing quite well defensively, but you guys know some of the reservations that I have of him within the team and as such playing football. But you know what, man, I always give massive props to Thiago Silva. Now obviously Raheem Sterling's another one who I want to kind of mention quickly in this thing, where you guys know I'm very harsh on him. I wasn't not high on him either, in my personal opinion as well, but it seems that things have changed with him and like he's been playing quite well the last few games. But again, I always say I want consistency. Yes, he's there now for back-to-back games. I want to see it more often, more consistent. Him driving, him dribbling, him doing what he does best. The more he does that, the more he helps the team. Again, as I've said this before, he's the older statesman in that attack. We need him to be leading that attack from the wing, if that makes sense. Him and Cole Palmer alongside Nicholas Jackson. So it is what it is. He's Woodrick, man. Now you got to fight for your place, even though you've been playing really well when you've been starting. Now you've got to fight for your place amongst the best of the rest, essentially, in my opinion. Similarly, I would say the similar thing to, of course, Noni Madueke as well, who's barely had any minutes. But again, I did say beforehand, Pochettino did not rate him previously, and it's now looking like that shit is becoming essentially quite true. So we move. But again, guys, that's the video as always. Please make sure again to like, share, subscribe. As always, again tomorrow I'll be doing a FM career mode this time. So what does that mean? I'm going to be doing FM career mode this time. So that means literally you're going to be seeing me hooping on FM. You know what I'm saying? Real hoops on FM. That's what I'm going to say right now. So I'm looking forward to that, of course. You're going to be seeing me doing the hezzy tween, you know what I mean? Gang, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, man, we're going to be seeing me do FM of Chelsea. I'm not gonna like really buy. I think I'm not gonna buy any players at the end of the day. I want to keep it very realistic with the squad that we have, and pretty much continue to do so. And we'll see what happens. But hey, that's the video, guys. As always, please make sure to like, share, subscribe. I'm almost at 1K. We keep saying that every video, but hopefully this is the video that takes me to above 1K. So thank you very much. As always, dedicate your hearts, and as always, make sure to stay blue.